I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is a Patreon review for Mr. T, and no, not that Mr. T. This is another one. If you're ever interested in sending requests for review, re-review, commentary, movie topic, or any other type of video, you can either do it directly via my PayPal, or you could be part of my Patreon. Either way, the links to both of them will be down below in the info box. And the movie he wanted me to review today is a film called The Brother from Another Planet from 1984, starring Joe Morton, Steve James from the first three American Ninja films. He's in this. And a couple other familiar faces. Oh, I recognize that character actor. That type of thing. Fisher Stevens from Short Circuit and My Science Project. He has a small role. It's written and directed by John Sayles. Very talented guy. He wrote Alligator, which is a great creature feature film with Robert Forster. The movie, it's done a very dirt cheap budget. You could tell from the dirt cheap special effects at the beginning of the film where Joe Morton lands in a spaceship, or crash lands, however you want to put it, which is this very cramped camera down below, and you don't really see much of anything. But okay, this is a film not meant for effects. It's meant for its message, or really it's about Joe Morton, who plays a mute alien who looks like a black man, and the only way you can differentiate him from another human being is he has 3 toes on each foot. And I guess this movie's trying to talk about immigration, because he lands, people don't understand him because again he can't talk. He can't understand the language. Then throughout the film he understands more and more. He never speaks. And it was cool to see Joe Morton in the lead because I like him as an actor. Mainly he's in small supporting roles, whether it be as Miles Dyson in Terminator 2, or he was in Speed and Speed 2. He was in Paycheck with Ben Affleck. He's been in a lot of stuff. And considering the type of role he's given, Joe Morton does a good job. And he's trying to understand what money is. He's trying to understand how bits of society. He goes to a bar owned by Steve James. Cool to see Steve James in there. As an alien, he has the power to either heal because his foot gets screwed up and he heals it, or there's this child who has a cut on the leg and heals that, or he can heal machines. Like in the bar, people look down on him. Who is this weird guy who's not even talking? You know, is he crazy? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, he doesn't speak English maybe. But as soon as he fixes the arcade machine, because he can fix machines too, then they kind of go, oh, he has some merit. Which I guess that's a reflection on society, that you're nobody unless you're able to do something. So wow, you actually have some merit. And I wouldn't say I didn't like the movie a lot, but I didn't hate the movie. It was a time waster. It was for free on YouTube. And again, overall, I'm glad I saw it once because I've heard about this film for a while. I don't think you needed this whole subplot where these two, I guess, aliens, Men in Black, however you want to put it, played by the director John Sayles, and also the other guy is David Strathairn, who I've seen in other stuff. I believe he was in Mimic, where he was paired up with Mira Sorvino. And they're seemingly have superhuman strength, and they hiss like a cat, which I found more laughable than anything. I know this is supposed to be a comedy, and that's another thing. It's a comedy, but I can't really think of many scenes I laughed at. I thought this more as a drama, but a lot of times it's labeled as a comedy, and I'm going, I don't really see the comedy in it, but okay. And so I do think it's a tad overrated, because it's a movie that, again, labeled as a comedy. I didn't really see what I was supposed to be laughing at. And B, it's a story that's kind of searching for a story. It's pretty much wandering around where, oh, he's trying to find a way to deal with money, and he's chased by a cop. Then he goes to a bar, and they talk about him for a while. Who is this guy? A caseworker helps him, then puts him in the home with this lady, and a kid who has a cut on the knee, and heals that. There's some decent scenes, and there's really nothing in it that I hated and thought was absolutely dreadful, except the lackadaisical ending, which I'll get to. But I guess this is a rant because I didn't really feel a compulsive anger throughout it. I appreciate what it was trying to do. Again, talking about immigration, and John Sayles obviously wanted to say something about that type of topic. There are some decent scenes. The Fisher Stevens, from Short Circuit and My Science Project. Joe Morton sees him on the train, subway train, and it's a good scene because he says, oh, I'll give you this. Actually, sit down. I'll show you a card trick. And he does all these things with card tricks, and he tells this very long story using the cards and using the numbers of the cards. And then after he's done with that, he's like, I'll show you my second trick. I'll make all the white people disappear. And the subway stops, and he gets off, and all the other white people get off. And he turns around, looks at him, and goes, see? And granted, you just say maybe that was a bit on the nose with the message, but I thought it was well acted by Fisher Stevens, and I thought, I thought it was definitely one of the more interesting scenes in the movie. And there's sequences like these two tourists, they sit down in this bar and they seem kind of nervous, but then just because Joe Morton listens, they're talking, they get more drunk, they're talking, they're being more easygoing and more loose, more comfortable. So maybe it's John Sayles talking about how, if we just sat down, listened for a while, then things could actually work out fairly well. Maybe John Sayles trying to say that. There's a point where he buys a record, but he throws the record away and he keeps the picture. I got a little chuckle out of that. A really goofy fight scene where the two Men in Black type of guys fight people in the bar because they're trying to get to Joe Morton, and like Steve James trying to fight him. No, this is not the Steve James in American Ninja, so don't expect that. And sometimes there's no sound effects, and it's very goofy, awkward fighting. So I guess in retrospect, I have more negative to say about positives, so maybe in a way this should be labeled a rant, but at the same time, I don't feel comfortable putting a rant in the towel, because again, I do appreciate the intent. I do appreciate the ideas that John Sayles is floating out there. I do like Joe Morton. It was cool to see people like Fisher Stevens, who, again, I think he has the best scene in the movie, or Steve James. The ending, just to spoil the ending starting now, pretty much he's being chased by the two Men in Black, and then all these other people show up to help Joe Morton. And I guess those other people are aliens, because they're mutes as well, and the two men in black are steered, and then they do this thing and go, and then Joe Morton kind of does this, and the other one does this. Idea says, we're not going to go up, we're going to stay. And then he's on a subway train for some reason. And then he's by a fence, and he looks towards the camera. And then it ends. I'm like, that's the ending? It just seemed kind of a meh, lackadaisical, ho-hum ending, you know. Okay, I guess that's the ending. That's what I mean. It didn't really have much of an actual story or actual plot. Kind of just a series of, I guess, observations. For example, someone at the bar at one point giving this speech about Harlem and how it used to be the place where, how I put it, it used to be the place that you would go, and if you got here, you made it. And now it's more of a slum. I don't know, maybe because I've seen better science fiction films that tackle subjects of that nature, or maybe this needed a bit more finesse, or needed a bit tighter script, which is weird saying for John Sayles, or a more interesting ending, or just... As the movie wandered, my mind kind of wandered. So at the end of the day, despite all the negatives I have, it was a time waster. Again, for Joe Morton and the other character actors, its intentions, its general idea about mutation, and maybe a bit more could have been done with the subject material. Maybe a bit more done could have been to the script, where again it had a better flow or a tighter script, or if it's labeled a comedy, some more genuine laughs. If people love the film, I love to hear their thoughts down below. I guess I kind of watch it going, I will never see it again. Considering the praise I've heard of it, I think it's a tad overrated. But its heart is in the right place, so maybe I'm giving it an easy pass for that. I don't know. But either way, what more can I say? Thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you in the next video. Later.